welcome back to Twin Cities Live. Hey, if you've heard the weather forecast, it's getting cool. If you haven't heard the weather forecast,
I always watch the weather on 5 Eyewitness News.
At 4:30.
I get it from Chicago Windler.
There you go. Little plug. Yeah. And there is going to be some cool weather coming up, maybe a frost in outlying areas. We'll talk more about that at 4:30. But first, John.
How can you get your lawn ready for the fall and winter ahead? And
It's been bugging me. I've been wondering that all day long.
Well,
what am I going to do for my lawn?
You got a new home, too.
Yeah.
And what projects should you be doing right now?
I've got 1,000,001 things to do, and we have the man with the plan, garden expert, Mike Frattallone.
Thank you.
Yeah, this guy is the original high kicker. It really should have been you that last
I was watching you do that, and I was like, he can't nearly get high enough.
Yeah.
And that was great.
And I was doing it. Did you see me off the side?
Yeah, you were great.
I pulled a hammy, I think. I'm not sure.
And you, unlike John, you actually do meet the height weight requirements.
I might. I've always had feminine hips. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
That's all for another day. But first, we got to talk
Too
about
much.
what you can do to get your lawn ready for fall.
Yes, it's super exciting. And the first thing that we didn't want to bring in, because it's just way too big, they weigh about 300 pounds, is an aerator. And that's step number one. If you can aerate your yard, what you're going to do is it takes about as long as it takes to mow your yard, and it pulls out little plugs of dirt. It kind of looks like maybe a dog went all over your yard.
So it's like just plugging little holes through your yard, right?
It's doing exactly that. It
What's it
aerates
doing?
the soil.
Oh.
So your soil can dry out a little bit better. You can seed. The seed will drop into the holes, and it just softens your soil. And that's step number one. You rent those. They're about $30 to rent to do your whole yard. It takes a couple hours to do.
Frattallone's Ace Hardware?
At Frattallone's Ace Hardware.
Can you rent one there?
Confuse me. Yes, you sure can. Yeah. They're very, very heavy. So don't pull up in your Honda Civic and think you're going to leave with an aerator, because you need to pull up with your big truck and set it in there.
Okay.
Good to know.
So you got that done. Now you need to seed.
Now
but
you
you've
need
got
to seed.
different kinds of seed you got to be wary of.
You know what happens is a lot of people come into our store and they buy this Speedy Green, and it's good seed. The only problem, it's annual grass seed. It only comes up 1 year. So it grows really fast, but it just grows for 1 year.
Okay.
So you got to make sure you get seed that, when you read on the back, it says perennial grass seed. Comes up year after year after year.
So that's what you recommend.
Yes, you don't want to use annual grass seed, especially at the end of the season. Maybe at the beginning of the season to full up your yard.
What's the difference in price? I mean, we're talking about.
Well, you're talking about like $20 for this bag and like $5
But
for
then once
this
you
bag.
get this, it should last
It's years and years and years worth of growth.
Oh, well.
The only time you use Speedy
Better
Green
investment
is if,
here.
That's right. It just it's a no-brainer. Like if you just put down topsoil and you want to get something started, that's when you use the annual grass seed, because it grows so fast. This product right here, it's an encapsulated product, so it has the fertilizer, the seed, everything you need. You just sprinkle it on and water it.
It's lazy man's lawn.
It is.
Yeah, one-stop
Love it.
shop.
Yeah, it's really,
Okay.
this is great for the smaller areas. When
Okay.
we talk about watering. That's
Yeah.
something you need to do. People think that since it's the end of the season, you don't need to water anymore.
Yeah, what's the point?
It's just the opposite. You need to keep your grass as strong as you can right up until the end of the season.
Okay.
So then
What's the end of the season?
Well, when snow falls.
And is it
Okay.
still something where you should water early in the morning or at dark?
Yeah, that's not as important now, because it's not melting away. It's not evaporating away in the heat of the day. You know, because it's only. Well, you'll tell us what the temperature is,
exactly.
but it's just not so hot. It's at 4:30. So this, I just. We got all the plugs in.
Yeah.
This is a really, really simple sprinkler. Any sprinkler will do, but you just want to make sure you keep it wet. If you put down good grass seed, it takes about 20 days to germinate. So you need to keep your yard wet for 20 more days.
Okay.
Okay, and then I see in front of me here you've got the fall lawn fertilizer. I didn't know there were special seasons for different fertilizer.
It's almost the most important time is the fall. That sounds, in fact, when I'm on next spring, I'm going to say the most important time is spring, but that's really the second most important time. This time is really important. You want your grass as strong as
You're
possible.
going to lie to us next spring. Is that
No,
what you're telling us?
I'll say
That's pretty much
it's
what
a
he
close
said, yeah.
second.
Okay.
But this
Double speak.
Yeah, that's right. Everyone will forget by then.
Yeah. But this is a big deal to fertilize in the fall.
It is. You need to have your roots as strong as you possibly can, so when your leaves are sitting on your grass and snow is sitting on your grass for 5 months, it can survive. So you need your root growth, and that's what that does. It's a slow burn nitrogen, so it gives you a lot of nitrogen, and it gives you a lot of root growth.
Okay, what about, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, if you don't want weeds in the spring, take care of it in the fall.
Take care of them now. I wouldn't go through and weed my whole yard, because that's just not going to work. But I would definitely kill spots. If you have bad spots of weeds, come on out there with a ready-to-use sprayer. It's cheap, it's easy, and just spray them dead.
This is weed be gone. Weeds be gone. And then you spray it on there and they're gone. Very good. And all this available at Frattallone.
All of it's available at Frattallone's, believe it or not.
Amazing. It's great. Mike,
so
as
fun.
always, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Great. I was going to go out with a big finish, with a big kick, but
yeah, I don't think so.
you hurt the hammy, so we'll be able to do it. Thanks,
it's
Mike.
okay. All right, next it is super.